But it is really an ability to stay disciplined, focused, and resilient, but it is not the inability to feel.
No. I love that you said that. Yeah.
Yes. Mental toughness does not mean I don't feel it.
Mm-mm.
It means I feel absolutely everything.
This is the Mental Mettle Podcast, where we explore how to forge mental toughness and resilience in every aspect of life. Welcome. I'm your host, Coach Matt Toman. I'm an ICF certified professional coach with a background as a teacher, basketball coach, and athletic director. But my journey took a dramatic turn in 2020 when I survived both cancer and a stroke. Those experiences shaped my mission to help others grow stronger in every facet of life. Today, I work with athletes, coaches, educators, and anyone who believes that positive mental health is both achievable and a personal responsibility. This podcast is dedicated to helping listeners develop a positive version of toughness, one rooted in resilience, focus, and growth. Whether you're looking to excel on the field, in the classroom, or in life, this is your space to learn, grow, and take action. Join me on this journey, and together, let's forge your mettle. Welcome back, Metalheads. It's the Mental Mettle Podcast. Coach Toman here, ready to go. It is August. Like, we are back in full swing in school. Vacations are over. We're getting back into it, and it's a fun time. I enjoy it. It's getting a lot of work working with schools, teams, coaches, and I'm just excited about August and the upcoming school year for all the teams that I work with, all the clients that I work with. It's just an exciting stuff, and the podcast is going fantastic. One of the things I want to mention about the podcast and my business actually is that I didn't set this business up to be a faith-based business. I'm very faith-based in the way I operate, what I do, and just I have a lot of faith but I didn't necessarily create the business like that. And I don't necessarily work on every podcast or every client from that perspective, but a lot I do. And I started leaning into the faith a little bit a while back in February as part of the monthly Metal Challenge. I did some stuff on faith and did all of my episodes in February from a faith-based perspective. And it was funny as I started to do that. I say funny, but the Lord works in mysterious ways. It started as I started leaning into that. I noticed a growth in the business. I saw more opportunities to lean into the faith stuff, and I realized, okay, this is like how many more. A friend called it God winks or nods, or that it's like, okay, just keep leaning into this stuff. It works really well. I did a speaking engagement over the summer at a camp with athletes. I was invited to speak, and it was a faith-based camp and working with young basketball players and other athletes. And I met the guest on the podcast today, JaDawn Bryant, just phenomenal woman, great coach, and very faith-based in the way she does things. She is, yeah, you'll see. She's a coach. She works in the school district working with kids, but she also is ordained and does some preaching and just very, very cool to listen to. But I'm going to jump into this episode. You guys will love it. She's high energy and got a lot of good things. And yeah, here we go with JaDawn Bryant. She is the head coach of the MacArthur Lady Generals in Decatur, Illinois. Mettle is a person's ability to face adversity in a spirited and resilient manner. It is a great skill to have for athletics and for life, but it is not something we are born with. If you want it, you have to forge your mettle. And if you listen to the Mental Mettle Podcast, you already know that, but not everybody else does yet. So help me out by ordering and wearing some sweet The Mental Mettle Podcast gear. We've got short sleeve tees, long sleeve tees, and some super comfortable hoodies. Order online today and you can have your gear in no time. But the best part is that every order helps support the show and helps me spread the message that mental toughness is a trait that can and should be built. So find the link in the show notes, order your gear, and start showing that you know how to forge your metal. Your athlete probably spends hours working on the specific skill set they need for their sport, and they probably spend hours in the weight room building their body. But how much time do they spend intentionally training their mind? Well, building mindset is the key to bridging the gap between the skills that we see and game execution. Well, Mental Mettle Coaching provides individual programs that can help your athlete develop this third and crucial skill set. Welcome back to the Mental Mettle Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Matt Toman, and I'm here with my guest today, Coach JaDawn Bryant. How you doing, Coach?
I'm great. I'm fantastic. How are you?
Hey, I'm so good. So thank you for jumping on the call here. I got to tell a story here first to start. So you and I met each other working with Coach Herm. He's working with a bunch of kids in Springfield. He does I forget the name of his camp, but it's pretty cool. They're doing basketball, but
Faith camp.
Also Faith Camp, yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know if he got his wires crossed, but you and I end up speaking the same day, right? And it was such a fortuitous thing, because then I get to hear you speak, and
Absolutely.
and I don't know if you feel the same, but then you heard me speak, and it's nice. So, but here's my funny part. So listen, this is just it's one of these. I've been a Christian my entire life. I've been going to church and stuff like this, but there's some racial stereotypes that are just right on the money, right? So you're talking to these kids and you're getting them fired up, right? And it's at one point they were going, and you said something. You said, "Man, you guys are almost as loud as church on Sunday." And I started laughing, because they were jumping, they were doing, and I'm like, listen, I was like, Coach, this is never like any church I've ever been to. I was like, they are well beyond any church I've ever sat through. And it was just,
that is hilarious.
it was funny, and it made me, and was honestly, because I was over there and I was having a good time. I was like, and it made me think, I was like, maybe I need to go to a different church, because I was like, I could get it. I was like, I can get into this, because it was a lot of fun. And it was really good. It was so great to see those kids really excited about it. And
Absolutely.
Coach Herm Sonor, he's doing just a great job
Phenomenal.
with those kids.
Him and Glenn, doing great.
And Glenn, and so I was so thrilled to be able to go down there and talk to those kids, and just, I mean, I love talking to kids. It's like, I think that you don't have to, I think when you talk to kids, you can get your message out in 5-10 minutes, and then fill the rest of an hour with questions. And there's they'll be the best questions that you've ever heard. And you're like, man, it's just so much, it's so much fun. So that's how we met. And
that's how we met.
I came home and told my wife that story, and she was laughing. I mean, so it was great. So
I love it.
So I love it that you're on, because I've done a few episodes of the podcast. It's the Mental Mettle Podcast, about just mental toughness, resilience. I do a lot of basketball, because that's what I love. And then I get cross into athletics, basketball, and religion and faith.
Sure,
right?
Absolutely.
And so when I started hearing you talk, I'm like, wow, this is a given. I want to get you on. So
appreciate that.
But I'm getting I'm getting into the next level, but I want to talk a little bit about your background. So give me a little bit about your background, who you are, what you've grown up doing, and what you're doing now, so everybody else can catch up.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you again. It is a privilege to be on with you. Honored to meet you that particular day. And I knew when we connected, eventually it would happen. And so the first opportunity I could get it on my calendar, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So any opportunity that I can share my story and to help somebody else, I love it. So I am a young lady from Danville, Illinois, born and raised. So not from anywhere big, but it is home. And I'm a Danville Viking, graduated from Danville High School, played a little bit of JUCO at Danville Area Community College. I went on to get my degree at Illinois State University. I have always had a passion for sports. My oldest brother, DeMarcus, played ball. My father was a basketball player, and I have cousins that were always into basketball. So I would say I picked up the ball at about the age of 5, and I just knew by the time I got to like fourth, fifth grade, I was ready, to play basketball. And so as time goes on, those nagging basketball injuries like torn ACLs, which I just did like a year ago. So tore one in high school. So never, like I said, went on to play a little bit in college. And down through the years, I knew at some point I wanted to give back. And so I didn't know how that looked for me at one point in life. I'm a single mom, raising my daughter who I had young. And I tell everyone that we grew up together, but super proud of that. And so at one point, I remember telling a friend I was just too busy. I'm too busy to coach. I'm too busy. I was like,
Yeah.
no, you'd be good at it. You'd be good at it. I was like, man, I got so much going on. And so opportunity came for an elementary program at DPS 61, which is the Decatur Public Schools in which I
Yeah.
live now currently. And it was Dennis Elementary School. And I remember meeting the principal. And upon that meeting, he hired me to coach the elementary grade. And it's so funny because now I coach that and then the program stopped. So a year later, opportunity came and I became the middle school coach at Hope Academy. So that was in 2018.
Okay.
And in that first year, went on to win 7th and 8th grade regional titles. Continued to coach there for about 6 years. Then became the coach at Decatur MacArthur High School, the Lady Generals. Super proud to have been promoted to that opportunity and given that opportunity. The first year was tough. So we can definitely tap into that mental toughness. The first year was tough.
Listen, I'm telling you, it's like, well, usually when you didn't have any high school coaching experience.
No.
When you have that the first high school gig you get is never a great situation. There are
Never.
some if you're under,
Yes.
somebody hands it to you, things like that. But for the
Mhm.
most part, it's a
Right.
tough situation.
Absolutely. And it wasn't tough because I didn't have a great group of girls. It wasn't tough because I didn't have a great coaching staff. Shout out to them, Coach Fred, Coach Green. It was tough because I didn't know the system as well as middle school also, because there's a
Yeah.
lot more that comes into that level of coaching. And it was different. Now, when it comes to the wins and losses, it looks bad
Yeah.
on record. But we persevered. And so I wouldn't say it was tough because the girls, I love those girls or my coaching staff, but the system was different. The responsibility that I held was a lot different. The emotional, mental drag on it was a whole lot different with as competitive as I am. It was different. It was much different than middle school and high school. And so going into my second year, bring it back to a very full circle moment. My first coaching job, elementary, a young lady on my team that just graduated high school, and I was able to coach her senior year. So a super duper
Oh,
cool full circle moment for me. That she was one of the first young ladies that I coached in the district, and she actually got to play under me after two again nagging knee injuries. But her senior year, I was able to coach her out. So that was dope. That was real dope. Yeah.
I mean, it's great when you can do that and you see the
Absolutely.
kids grow up and do that.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
it's so what's the lessons like? Yeah, you get in there and you're like, there is some level when you do the junior high and you're like, you go to the high school, like it's still basketball, and you think, I've got, and then you realize
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Absolutely. It is a lot. The schedule is much deeper,
Yeah.
much more travel, much more sacrifice. The middle school level, it's not a walk in the park. And I still give that same commitment, but as you step up, there is a lot more that comes into it. A lot more when it comes to even the personalities of the young ladies that I do coach. Life begins to truly happen for them. A lot of the high schoolers are taking on a lot of responsibilities. And so
Mhm.
the mental toughness that I have to have as a coach, even a mentor towards them when life happens and they have to go through so many things and still want to give their 110% on the court. So that's a whole nother level as well. So it's a lot of different things that come with it. But yeah, it definitely took me realizing um, that this was a different ballpark. And not to mention the scrutiny of people who seemingly think they could do it better.
Mhm.
I have great support. Let me just be there. Outside of my family support. I have great circle of friends and community. But there's always some people, that feel like they can do it better. And so you have to be prepared for the opinions of others. And that's life itself. But I'm telling you, in the world of sports and coaching, it can be a beast sometimes.
It is. It's a lot of it. You told a lot of coaching right in there, and like, and the importance you have in like the influence you have on a kid, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
how how impactful and powerful that is, and how
Yeah.
great that is. But then also, what makes it so great is there's good and bad in our culture that we put so much pressure on it, right?
Man. Yeah.
And it's that pressure that makes it, they've been through something and you're guiding them
Yes.
through something, but it gives that, when if you're able to step back and look at like these people that are like, just the scrutiny they put on you, it's like, what are we doing? But it's
Hmm.
there, right?
Absolutely.
But it's also what makes it great,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because I mean, you had a really tough first year, but
Yes.
by year two, you've got a
Year
regional
two.
champion. Yeah, I mean,
Regional.
so
Yes.
code. Let's be, so it's like, that's also,
Yes.
you get a lot of you know, it's very empowering, and you get a lot of
Yes.
accolades because you go
Absolutely.
and you turn it around.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
You
so
you you just, you can't take, it's the good and the bad, and you got to take both.
you have to take both. And so it is the perseverance that you have. I came in the gym day one last year in this last basketball season. I told them I said the goal was to be conference champs. That was the goal. And I didn't have necessarily the goal to be regional champs. And if I could be honest, my goal was to be conference champs. And I felt like if we were conference champs, that we would be able to, I guess, be successful at every other level after which. And it's so funny, it flip flops. We were regional champs and we're tied for second in the conference. So didn't necessarily get the conference champion, but we got the regional titles. So it was just like, I just came in to try to encourage them and raise their confidence level. I believed it, but I wanted them to believe it. I can do what I can do on the sideline, but you all are out there putting the ball in the basket. And I can guide you as a coach and encourage you as a coach and correct you as a coach. But if you don't believe the vision that I have for the team, then we are unbalanced. So after that first year, we came in, we worked very hard. Like I said, I have a group of amazing young ladies dedicated and willing to put in the extra work most times. Sometimes I have to give them a little extra boost, but for the most part, most of them are always willing to put in the extra work. And despite what they're going through, and we were able to persevere. So that regional title felt amazing. I felt like I won one in middle school, won two in middle school actually, but that high school level coming after that first year of 13 and like 19 was our record. Coming back to be like 27-6, man, amazing feeling. It was a tough loss in the sectional, lost by 9 points. And but again, the, to end that season, I told them there's no reason for any of us to hang our heads because we fought very hard. And this upcoming season should look even better, even better.
Yeah. So I'm picking up some things that you said there that I love, and I
Mhm.
work with a lot of teams and stuff, a lot of coaches, and there's something you said there that I agree with 100%, but I want to dive into it.
Sure.
That you said that this, it felt like the start of the season, it started with making sure in the belief, and I can't agree with that more. I think that, but there's a difference between saying it and actually fostering
Mhm.
it. And I'm
Absolutely.
really curious, you know what I'm saying? And we can just put word salad up there at the first day and talk it, but when you actually pull it off,
Hmm.
I'm asking, I don't know if I want you to spill all the beans and give you the magic recipe if you have one, but how do you get that? Because you can say it, but how are you
Right.
pulling it off? How do you get them to actually believe?
Absolutely the balance and that belief. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a magic way. I don't know if it's one way. I think there are a multiplicity of ways to do it, but I believe in, first of all, saying it and then putting it into practice. So every time we do something, why are we doing it? Because we want to be number one. Why are we going the extra mile? Why are we running this? Why are we doing this? Why are we showing up here? Is because we want to be number one. And so it is a mindset that, yes, I said it, but every time in practice, I'm reminding you of where we're supposed to be at the end of the season. And so if you felt like complaining or felt like you were going to, okay, we ran too much and I'm about to throw up, the garbage can is over there in the corner. That's fine. I don't like it, but go do what you need to do. But we're doing this because what did I say we were going to be? And they would repeat it after me and they would
Mm.
say it. And so it became what I would consider maybe even a motto. And so they knew that everything that we put into practice, every thing that we put into the off season, everything that we was for the goal of being champions. And so that's just where it was. And so the buy-in was, we made sure that we lined it up with everything that we did. So if we were being lazy in a practice one day, that doesn't make champions. So
Yeah.
let's go back. If we were kind of being a little too much talking, too much playtime, too much this, okay, that doesn't make champions. Let's lock in. And so it took me and a couple of my captains who also understood the vision to buy in. Obviously, my coaching staff, never questioned whether they bought into it or not. They also were echoes, of everything that I would say and everything they would say. We were echoes to one another. And so it just became the culture. So when it becomes the culture and the climate of what our program is supposed to be, then the buy-in is not hard. And so all the new incoming freshmen, you gotta line up. This is what we're about here at the MAC. This is what we're doing. And if that's not something you see yourself in, that's okay. And it's not just for the players, it's for the families. I have to let the parents know
Yeah.
we have a vision, we have a goal to reach. And it's not about your child and just your child only, it's about a team. And we are a family, we're together. And so sometimes those hard conversations have to be had. It's like, this is not just about them. I do have I have some people that can give them the ball and let's go. But we also know that we're a team. And so everybody has a role to play. And if everybody plays their role effectively, then, we can come out on top. So yeah, hopefully I answered that, maybe
Oh,
took a
it's
long way, but yeah.
no. I love going on the long way. I hear a lot. The two words that I wrote down here, and that is intentionality and purpose. And
Absolutely.
and intentionality may seem simple,
Yeah.
but I can tell you that it's a difference in the way coaching is done now, or should be
Yeah.
done, I think, and the way
Yeah.
that you're doing it, the way that it used to be done. So
Absolutely.
you can get a kid to, we're doing, I don't care what you call them, but we're doing some running to get in shape, or we're doing a really tough drill.
Absolutely.
Back in the day, the coach might be likely to say, you just do it because I said.
Yeah.
Right. And now I think coaches have figured out, if you involve the kids, look, it's my job as the coach to put this out there. And this is what
Yeah.
I know what we need, but here's why we need it, because this is what we're trying to do. And this is our
Absolutely.
purpose. And this is
Absolutely.
very intentional to do it. And then the kids, they're not going to love it, but they
Right.
understand it. Right. And
Absolutely.
that's a huge difference.
Hmm.
It's such a huge difference. And I'm not surprised that you're getting some success. And listen,
Absolutely.
I'm going to be honest with you, JaDawn. Here, this
Yeah,
is
for sure.
this is a quick success. Like, I know you had a
Yeah.
first tough year, but
Yeah.
you got, a regional title by year
Yes.
2. That's
Yes.
fantastic, right?
Yes. Yes.
You're turning a culture relatively quickly, and kudos
Yes.
to you for do that. And I'm not
Appreciate that.
surprised, just talking to you the way you do it. I'm not surprised that you're getting that. I mean, you got to have. Listen, at the end of the day, you still have somebody who can put the ball in the hoop, right?
You got to. You have to.
I mean,
You have
I
to.
can give you the toughest, hardest working kids ever,
Absolutely.
but basketball is a
Absolutely.
game that honors skill. It just
And there you
does.
go. It is a game of skill. And when you have skill coupled with heart,
Yeah.
then you have a student athlete on your hands. And so I have a few that can definitely get the ball into the basket. And those are the ones that I do understand. And sometimes are even that are leaders on my team that I might even go after a little bit harder,
Yeah.
you know, to pull out some of more of that greatness and that potential, because there are times where athletes can get complacent. Oh, I know I can score. I know I can do this, but they
Mhm.
don't put in that extra work to be greater than great. And I think no matter how many baskets you make in a game. I tell some of them averaging 10 points a game is a little too low for me. It's too low. Why are we only scoring? Why did we only score 50 points today? And so almost every game, it was like 25 points a quarter. Like
Hmm.
those were some of the goals we would put out there. And I'm not talking about against the teams we knew we'd probably blow
I got
out.
you. I
No,
got you.
you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about challenging teams. How do we get the ball in the basket? That's how
Yeah.
you win.
Well, it's there again. It's that intentionality and that purpose and understanding. Here's what we're trying to do, and it's like
Mm.
we have to at least understand. And so you're a high scoring team, or you want to be. You at least have to put that out there and tell your team this is what we want, so that we know if we're getting there or we're not getting there, right? So that we can at least say no, we're getting the job done now, or we're
Mhm.
not, and
Mhm.
that can go whether you win or lose. You can do a really good job and still lose. You can win and not do your job.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So talk to me about some of that. So I'm a Milliken guy. I've spent a lot, and I lived in Decatur. So I know Decatur. I know Decatur well. It's
Yeah.
it's an area that's not without its problems,
Right,
right?
of
So
course. Mhm.
it's a tough area. It can be a tough area to coach in.
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah,
me about
definitely.
some of the struggles there, and because you're doing a great job with it. So that's
Hmm.
there's a lot to be learned from
Yeah.
here.
Again, you know what? I think first of all, I credit um a lot of the success that I believe that I'm getting, first of all, to God, and Him giving me the gift to do what I do.
Mm,
Um, but I also believe that character and integrity go a long way. And when you have that as a moral, foundational, personal value, and you couple it with the gift that you have been given to do, such as myself as coaching, it goes a long way. It really just goes a long way. And so um, I think one of the biggest things, in my opinion and perspective, is just the number of people that think that their expertise um, and have expertise that don't necessarily have the resume to prove that.
yeah,
Does that
yeah.
make sense?
Well, yeah, and especially that's another thing about that. Again, that's another thing that's very important. Like I don't want to say specific, but it's
Hmm.
part of Decatur. Like there's a rich basketball history in Decatur,
Yeah,
and listen,
definitely.
everybody knows or thinks they know basketball anyway, right?
Right.
So it's the places you're playing or coaching. It's
Hmm.
real. It's
Right.
real.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that's sometimes what we hear. Um, and some of the people that have actually never coached and or never played that have some of the best ideas of what should be happening in the community of Decatur when it comes to basketball.
Hmm.
And a lot of these kids are friends and cool, and then it's the outside people that put them against each other
Right.
and all of those things. So I've seen that happen. Ultimately the support is definitely amazing. The majority of the time, I am honored to not be from Decatur, but have been
Yeah.
honored as a coach to
Right.
receive the Greater Black Chamber of Commerce, Corey Walker, Coach of the Year last year, and then Coach of the Year in the Held and Review this past year, the IBCA Coach of the Year. So I always tell them, this is not my hometown, but I have been received so well in Decatur, and so. You kind of deal with that. Some of the parents, having things to say, you got to just be honest with them. They think, hey, my son, my daughter is the best thing out of
Oh
Decatur,
yeah.
and
Oh
and
yeah.
that's we sometimes we just have to be honest and say maybe not so much. But again, you should be
It's
your child's biggest cheerleader, but you also have to be honest
yeah.
with them that if you want to get here, this is the work that you have to put into it. And so I really believe that um I've seen, I don't, I'm not a try to support everybody. That is my goal, is to be supportive to everything and everybody. I will show up. I will try to do. I will. If anybody knows me, that is what I enjoy doing, is being able to support people in whatever endeavors that they have. And so, there are a number of basketball camps that if I can make it, I try to go to, events and things of that nature. And so that's what I love. But I do believe that there are a lot of just little small negative nuances that try to put us in that coaching world against
Hmm.
each other. And it doesn't have to be that way when we are all trying to do this together. So if you're coaching at the elementary, coaching at middle school, and I'm at high school, there's a funnel there that we can partner and we can do this thing together. So if you got them in third, fourth grade, fifth grade, and then somebody gets them in the middle school, and then they're coming to the MAC or they're going to the E, then we need to make that connection, and we need to help funnel those kids to the right places. And it's not about it's just no big eyes and little U's. We are collectively, we should be coming together. And I think that's the thing. It's just those small little things that come up and perspectives of and opinions and just negative little
I
words
know.
that sometimes get into the ears of people, and then it looks like we're at odds. But technically, I know me personally, not at odds with anybody,
Yeah,
anyone.
yeah. I mean, I think that the competition, the day when you have the competitions, when you have the
Yeah,
games, yeah, we're trying to beat each other. But I
of
think
course.
of course, that's what makes it fun. But I think beyond that, it is like it should. We're all in this together,
We really are, especially
and
with the youth.
honestly, that's what I was going to say. I mean, this
Yep.
is not pro ball. Like everybody
Uh-uh.
should be helping everybody,
Yes.
and the worst thing that we can do, is do something that limit limits any kid's
That's right.
potential
That's right.
that is not. And I don't care what team that is.
That's right.
We should never be in the business of limiting some other kid's potential, because that's what
Um,
sports are for.
Absolutely.
And so I'm with you. It's great. I saw that. I've seen all your awards. It's fantastic. I love that you're doing well. Um, I love that you're doing well. You're getting the recognition from it, but people will still say you think don't know what you're doing, right? It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Exactly.
hey, it's all good. It's all
Yeah.
just part of it. I had a great coach tell me once that when it comes to parents, what parents want, every parent wants their kid and the other best four players on the floor. And
Right.
that's ever and it's pretty across the board.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's okay. You just deal with it. You keep your coaches. Do you dream of guiding mentally tough athletes towards a championship? Kids that are resilient, persistent, and unshaken by setbacks. Well, in today's world, those athletes aren't born. They have to be developed. Many athletes face significant challenges and risk burnout. So, how do we foster that mental toughness without overwhelming them? Well, introducing the Ember to Inferno program, Building Mentally Tough Athletes. This series is designed specifically for coaches, offering a deep dive into your own journey of mental toughness and equipping you with practical tools to build confidence and belief in your athletes. Rather than just simply adding more adversity to their life, we focus on creating a strong foundation for mental resilience. You'll learn how to transform a spark of motivation into a blazing fire of toughness, using techniques that address challenges like social media pressures, athletic stress, and trauma. Don't just wish for mentally tough athletes, build them. Join the Ember to Inferno program today and ignite the potential in your athletes. For more information, contact me, Coach Toman, at Mental Mettle Coaching.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved how you were talking about how you have to coach from a place of integrity, and I love that. And I think that cannot be faked. That cannot be like kids know,
Absolutely.
and they know if what you say and what you're pushing and what is real. They know.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It comes with a level of trust. As
Oh,
coaches, we spend a lot of time with our athletes in the gym, traveling to games, different things like that. Um, it's like it's part-time job hours,
oh yeah,
that we spend with them. And so it definitely takes a level of trust,
it
and they
does.
have to know that you're telling me to do this, but you're doing the opposite.
Yep.
Um, I open up the opportunity for all of my athletes, and I've only coached females athletes, student athletes, but I open it up for them to understand that, listen, you can come and talk to me, about anything, but I'm going to tell you now that if it feels like it's detrimental, I'm calling your parents.
Yep.
I'm going to let them know that you're struggling in this grade or this and that, or you're doing this. I check grades. I keep correcting myself and saying athletes, but they are student athletes because that's what I
Hmm.
call them. I'm the type of coach that checks grades, and I will text you, I will call you, I will copy a group text with mom, dad, whomever, and say, I see that you have a D. And IHSA has their regulations. One of my one of my rules, you cannot play with me with a C.
Yeah.
Anything
I,
lower than a C. Anything lower than a C. I'm sorry. You cannot play with a D.
I, I, I
You
don't
can't.
know. I don't have a problem with that. Right.
Yeah,
It's especially I think now, and I've taught for years and stuff. It's teachers go out of their way to make a kid succeed. If
absolutely.
a D, like, yeah,
You're not trying.
you're not really trying.
You're
No,
not trying.
it's
So, and they know that. So it would,
yeah,
and so there are extenuating circumstances that I will make an exception for that
sure, but
because
yeah,
life happens, and things happen. But if I find out you're not going to class, you're not showing up, we have a problem here.
yeah.
We have a
Well,
problem.
it goes back to your purpose, your intentionality, and what they're doing.
Mhm.
Like you can't what however you do anything is how you do everything, and
That part. That part.
it's you. It's so important, right? And
Yes.
it's why kids don't understand that. They don't always think that connection, but I think that's part of the accountability of a coach to help them
Absolutely.
understand that, right? I know
Absolutely.
that you like basketball better than you like English. I
Yeah.
don't care, right? Of course you do, right? I know you do, right? But that's all right. It's an obligation that you have to have.
Yeah.
So let's get into. I want to talk about your faith, and
Absolutely.
and I know that you're an evangelist, and this is
Yeah.
awesome. I love this, and I love I love any time that we can talk to somebody who's in athletics
Mm-hmm.
and does things that are really difficult and are tough, and
Mm.
help me preach this idea that f- faith is not soft,
No. No.
and it is
No.
such it's so it's so useful.
Absolutely.
I want you to speak to that.
Yeah. You know what? Oh man. I've never even heard that statement, but I agree that faith is not soft.
Well,
Um,
you know what I mean. That's the connotation sometimes.
absolutely. That it makes you weak or meek,
Yes.
or you can't get, no, it's not. It is a fortified, oh my God, just anchor. And an
Hmm.
anchor is a strong instrument. Okay. Faith is an anchor to absolutely everything that the believer would ever do. It just really is. And so, man, it doesn't make you to believe in God and all that He can do. Man, first of all, that makes you 10 times stronger just because you have the faith in Him. That what
Hmm.
I cannot do, my faith says He can do it through me. And so, man, to couple my faith and what I believe and coaching, we've implemented, like, we prayed before games. And I always open up that door to say, if anyone is not a believer or feels uncomfortable, please let me know. But that is something that all of my team, and if I don't say it, they will say it. And so, again, a culture, what we have developed. And so, having a faith, I have grown up in church. My parents, I was born in Pentecostalism, very
I can
much.
I can tell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pentecostal church. Like you said, the loud church, the hand clapping, foot stomping. Uh, and so I am a part of the Church of God in Christ Incorporated now. And my home church is Love Deliverance Evangelistic Church in Springfield, Illinois, my current church. And so Danville, Illinois was my foundation, a Christian home, and doing all the things that going to church, Bible study, um, and in the youth, in the choir, we were musicians, we were a little bit of everything. And so faith has never been something that I have never not been attached to. And there have been moments where faith in and of itself is going to always be that. But my faith, me believing in something, may have wavered at times, if that makes sense.
Well,
Faith
because
is
we're
the
not perfect.
substance. There you go.
Yeah,
Faith is the
absolutely.
substance. But me believing in what I say I believe in has wavered at times. However, because I've seen God come through for me so many times, that's what continues to be my anchor. So when I waver, faith doesn't.
Hmm.
Faith just doesn't. So God doesn't waver. What he says, his word doesn't waver. We waver because we're human and we're existing, in this supernatural, experience. But we waver sometimes because what we see doesn't look like what we want it to be and the
Mm,
outcome. But faith reminds us that it is the substance of things hoped for, and faith is the evidence of what I can't see. That's what faith is. So no matter what, that's my anchor. And that's why faith is not weak. It is strong. It is
yeah.
definitely strong.
Yeah, I love that metaphor, just the anchor. I've heard people
Yeah.
use it before. It's great. I mean, yeah, sometimes that chain gets a little bit too long.
Yeah.
We gotta reel it back in. And
Absolutely.
just because the storm is raging doesn't mean the faith isn't there.
That's right.
I get
That's
all
right.
that, but it's not, it's not static. Like it's up and
No.
down, and that's the thing.
Yeah. It can be
Give
that.
me some, give me, if you're okay with it, give me some examples of some times where faith has really helped you in either
Absolutely.
coaching in your life
Mhm.
or however.
You know what? As I mentioned, I mean, we could talk about coaching all day, but just in my personal life, like I said, I had a daughter at the age of 17. And that was not on my agenda at all. So
No, yeah.
but that is, I would not change that for the world. I tell everyone that they say, "What are you most proud of?" I said, "Raising my daughter, who's 21, who's about to enter her senior year in college
Hmm.
at Tennessee State University. Go Anaya." So I had to have faith to not crumble during that time. Continued on to get a college degree, then moved to Decatur. Again, had a great circle of people who were my community to help me raise her. My parents, again, a great group of friends. But there were moments where I'm like, where could I have been had this not happened? Or
Hmm.
where should I be? You know, there were moments that I questioned that. And so I had to lean in, and then it's struggling to do this and raising her and all of the things, and it's just like I don't have a super sob story, but there were moments where it was tough. It was tough. Imagine taking my daughter to daycare, working a
Yeah.
part-time job, going to college. That's tough. You know?
I think there's a misconception when you talk about when things like that happen to us, and everybody, everybody's got something that says, well, where would I be if this hadn't happened?
Yes.
It's looking at it the wrong way, because
Right.
you probably wouldn't be where you were if it
There you
hadn't
go.
happened.
There you go.
And it's the struggle, and it's the faith to get through that struggle that is what makes
Mhm.
us stronger.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, when I think about it from that perspective, then I revert back to that, I wouldn't change any of it because
No.
everything that I went through again fortified me to where I need to be today.
Hmm.
And so those struggles created me into being a stronger person. Those issues and those down through the years that created to me so how I can withstand, the scrutiny, or I can withstand, the opinions of other people, and I can
Yeah.
withstand, having to just deal with so many different things, being a mom and, watching my daughter go through so many different phases with, even her life, and being
Hmm.
able to be there for her. Um, yeah. So if I had not gone through them, how could I
Yeah.
have been an
No.
example
Yeah.
for her to lean into? So
Yeah.
absolutely, it was all
There's
purposeful.
it's a mindset that I think that when people figure it out, that if you can take things that happen to you and turn them into things that happen for you.
That's good.
It's
That is good.
everything. It
That is good.
you change the preposition and it
Absolutely.
changes your entire outlook on life.
Yep.
And I don't know. I
Sure.
it's
Mm-hmm.
it
Yep.
is, and I know how cheesy it sounds, and I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it is the way we see things and the way that we do things. It makes a difference in everything
Absolutely.
that we do, and I
Yeah.
can see it in the way you're coaching, in the way that you're,
Absolutely.
the resistant or the resilience that you've developed
Mm-hmm.
helps you coach. It
Absolutely.
helps you be the person you are, and that's what's
Yeah.
so great about it.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, for sure.
No. What else, Coach? Like, what do you got on the horizon? What else are you doing that I haven't mentioned?
Oh man. Currently now, so we'll probably get back in the gym, obviously, because October will be here before you know it. Um, we had a bit of I would say our summer probably wasn't what I would have preferred it to be. We had a couple of shootouts and things like that, but again, a lot of the girls um, have so much going on, and
Mm-hmm.
just getting sometimes that summer buy-in is a little bit more difficult. But I think we'll get it turned on real quick. I'm gonna make sure of it again, set that tone, set that expectation, because end of October will be here and we'll be flying, and then it'll be May again. So that's coming up. Like I said, just dropped off my wonderful daughter for her senior year at Tennessee State University. So
Awesome.
I'm coming back to Decatur, empty nester again. So I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Just, there's some church things coming up, conferences and things of that nature. So my life really just kind of revolves around that. And when I can have a moment to just digress, relax, and enjoy um, good good food, music, and all of the things, and my friends and my family. That's pretty much what I love doing. Love to travel, all those things. So nothing pressing, just kind of back to school. School started. I work
It's.
in the
I
school
mean,
district. Yes, I
you
work in the school district.
do you teach as well?
So I am a behavioral interventionist or student interventionist.
Oh,
So I'm at
so no,
hmm
so that starts to explain that explains a lot to me about
hmm
your understanding about mindset and
yes,
mentality and
yes,
how important that is. Right?
yes, yes.
That's that's I would have
Makes
dove
sense
into
now.
that. It does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
How did you
Yeah.
get into that? How'd you get into that area?
So funny story. My background is in finance, and was working a job. And so when that middle school coaching opportunity came up, I left that career and I got into the district. So it made it very convenient. And I started at Hope Academy. I was actually a TA, and I was that for about 2 years. And I went into under our student services department as a truancy caseworker. Did that for a couple of years, and then they revamped our district. At the time, the director of student services revamped that department under our current superintendent, and so there were only two interventionists for like the whole district. And DPS needs definitely more than one, more than two, more
Yes.
than three.
Yes. Yeah.
So they revamped kind of the scope of the student services as a whole, and they did the interventionist. And with me having a degree, I was able to pretty much really just kind of, it was offered to me, and I took it and grew in it. And so I believe I do my best to do well at it. And again, it's that pretty much staying focused, staying disciplined, staying resilient through all of that, because I meet kids every day that their behaviors are not because they want to be bad.
Yeah.
It's because there may be some academic issues, there may be some home issues, and I have to remember to extend that grace to them,
Yes.
because they could be acting out and I don't know. My thing is everything okay? It's not
Yeah.
why, this and that. And so I don't know. It's just a part of who I guess I am. And so the role kind of fit me a little bit because I enjoy building relationships with them, to know that I'm a trusted person, that we can get past these behaviors if we lock into what's causing your why. What is your why?
Hmm.
So yeah, that's how I got into that role.
That reaches coaching so well, in the sense
Yeah.
that when you have a kid that's, if you haven't worked with the behavioral start stuff,
Right.
and I was an administrator and stuff, so you see the
Okay.
other side of stuff.
Yeah.
If you Once you start to see that these behaviors aren't on purpose necessarily.
Right.
It's not an excuse, but
Right.
they're driven by something. And when you
Absolutely.
understand that it's not the kid wanting to do this or act this way or not doing what you want,
Hmm.
it changes your
Hmm.
perspective on how to handle that kid. And like,
Absolutely.
we're still going to hold this standard here, but I understand why you're struggling to get there, and I'm going to help you get there. It's different than saying, here's the standard and you're not doing it. Get off my team. I don't care what it's different.
Mm-hmm. You're good. I agree, 100%. And so it's always a matter of, I tell everybody, and I believe this, my own personal model, that there's a why to everything, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that there's a why. And um, people do things for a number of reasons. And you just never know. And to make an assumption on any athlete, any student, any person is not fair.
Nope.
It's not fair. Now, when they show you who they are, okay, that's fine. You can believe that. But don't assume. That's the reason why there's something called questions and answers. So
Yeah.
you ask the question, you get the answer, and then you go from there. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I do. My 9 to 5.
I love it. It has to help you with coaching. I know it.
Oh,
I know it does.
absolutely.
I know it does, which is a great way to look at it. So,
Yeah.
last question here, Coach. What did I
Okay.
not ask? What did I not ask you that I should have?
What did you not ask me that you should have? Um,
What did I miss?
I don't know. I know in the questions that you said something about the definition of mental toughness to me.
Yeah.
In light of your, obviously this is the foundation of your platform.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and man, I'm telling you, life is just life. And it is, I can't imagine me personally, again, and you could possibly agree, not having, again, my faith fortified and in Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
and because lives. Okay, I mentioned being a teenage mom. I mentioned coaching through a bad first year, and but there are so many different things that nobody ever probably would see. One of those people that if I'm dealing with something or whatever, I just usually keep to myself, don't really say anything about it. But it is really an ability to stay disciplined, focused, and resilient. But it is not the inability to feel.
No, no. I love that you said that. Yeah.
Yes. Mental toughness does not mean I don't feel it.
Mm-mm.
It means I feel absolutely everything. And I can acknowledge that I feel that. I always say this, that your feelings are your reality. And I cannot take that away. If you told me I offended you, it is your reality. And I need to understand what I did to have offended you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so it is not my inability to feel, but it is my ability to feel what I feel and attempt to find a way to persevere through those feelings. So yeah, it's not that you won't have fear, that you won't feel burnt out, that you won't have doubt. I self doubt. I've I've experienced those things. Like, am I doing enough? Am I not doing enough? Am I coaching? Is my method? Should I do this? Should I do? So I have those moments where I think about that, like I'm not doing enough, and I come down on I'm my worst critic. Like I'm my biggest
Mm-hmm.
worst critic, and but I fight to regain it through, again, my faith, my discipline, and just being able to renew my mind daily. That if God has called me to do this, I'm going to do it with the grace that He's given me to do it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I really want to really hone in on that. Our feelings should not necessarily guide us because we can make some very emotional decisions.
Yes.
So we have to be sure that they don't guide us, but don't not feel it.
Yeah.
Feel it and
I,
process through.
I feel that on a very personal level, being a guy,
Yeah,
40s, a dad,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
it is an epidemic
yeah,
among guys like me to
yeah, for sure.
want to think that mental toughness means I ignore everything. I
Right.
put my blinders up, I put my shields up and act like nothing bothers me.
Hmm.
And you can do that for a little while, but it
Yes.
it doesn't end well.
Yeah.
And I know that from a personal experience, it just doesn't end well. And so I love that you said that mental toughness is not the absence of feeling.
No, no,
It's staying true to what you're trying to do and the actions you want to have,
absolutely,
regardless of these things. Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
and that means being vulnerable a little bit.
Being vulnerable. Vulnerability, again, it's not a weakness. It's not you being
Nope.
soft. It's not you being, people to walk all over you. It's really your ability to say, hey, this is who I am.
Yep.
And I need help here, and I need help here, or I need help here.
Yeah.
And I think when people really tap into, when it comes to, like you said, being a man or being a woman, like me, I could be considered a strong, Black woman, raising
Mm-hmm.
my daughter and things like that. But
Yep.
I tell people my independency is not toxic. I need
No.
help.
I
I want
know,
help.
right? Yeah. I
I
love
need help.
it.
I want help. And so it's not a toxic independency that I have as a Black woman raising my daughter, or doing all the things that I've done, being a single Black woman. But it's no. So yeah, I can do a lot, but sometimes I don't want to,
I
So yeah,
know.
I want the help, but I appreciate, like I said, the people that are in my corner, that when I have my moments of self-doubt, or when I'm focusing, I get the affirmation and the reassurance. One of my friends literally always says, you're her. You're her. Now go be great.
Yeah.
And so I just always appreciate that. Yeah, for sure.
I love it. I love it, Coach. I'm gonna do my best. Of course, my son's at Milliken still. I get down to
Yeah,
Decatur quite a bit. I'm gonna do my best to get down, catch a game,
please
and
do. Please
and
do. Yeah.
I'll do that. It's been a great conversation. I can't thank you enough for coming on the
Thank
show. It's
you.
been fantastic. So
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Anytime.
you bet, Coach. Thank you very much. I appreciate
All
it.
right.
Parents, is your athlete ready for the upcoming sports season? They might have the strength, the speed, and the skills, but without confidence, they can still struggle when the game is online. Skill and strength are great, they're necessary, but they're not used to their full potential without the right mentality. Confidence is key. It's the key to unlocking that full potential. And at Mental Mettle Coaching, I offer personalized sessions designed to build the confidence your athlete needs for a successful season. My proven techniques empower them to perform under pressure, both on the field and in life. Don't let a lack of confidence hold them back. Book a free session today and discover the power of confidence. Visit the website, get started on the journey to a more confident, successful athlete with Mental Mettle Coaching. Coaches, do you dream of guiding mentally tough athletes towards a championship? Kids that are resilient, persistent, and unshaken by setbacks. Well, in today's world, those athletes aren't born. They have to be developed. Many athletes face significant challenges and risk burnout. So how do we foster that mental toughness without overwhelming them? Well, introducing the Ember to Inferno program, Building Mentally Tough Athletes. This series is designed specifically for coaches, offering a deep dive into your own journey of mental toughness and equipping you with practical tools to build confidence and belief in your athletes. Rather than just simply adding more adversity to their life, we focus on creating a strong foundation for mental resilience. You'll learn how to transform a spark of motivation into a blazing fire of toughness, using techniques that address challenges like social media pressures, athletic stress, and trauma. Don't just wish for mentally tough athletes, build them. Join the Ember to Inferno program today and ignite the potential in your athletes. For more information, contact me, Coach Toman, at Mental Mettle Coaching. I think one of the most interesting things that I noticed in that interview, and you see in that interview, or I pick it up and notice it, that she is a behavioral interventionist, and she's working at a school in Decatur and working with kids that need, well, she's a behavioral interventionist, which means she's working with kids that need behavioral interventions, right? And I've worked with individuals doing this in the past in my time as an administrator and just as a teacher. You have kids that need some behavioral interventions and working with them. And I think that it's a really really cool perspective that she has that I know that she steals from what she does in her work and working with coaching, in the idea that a behavioral interventionist understands that there are reasons behind behavior. And the best interventionists that I've worked with before understand that, and I'm leaning into the fact that JaDawn is really good at this, is they lean into the idea that there are reasons behind these behaviors. And these can be destructive behaviors, things that keep the kid from moving forward and reaching their potential. But understanding that there are reasons and being empathetic about that and helping a kid with that doesn't mean that we allow that to be excuses for the behavior or excuses for what we can become and how we can push forward. And I think that that sort of perspective is something that coaches should lean into more. Kids, athletes come to our programs, your program, everybody's program. They don't come with the same background, the same ideas, the same experiences, the same trauma or lack of trauma. And I think the idea of just treating every kid the same and just being on kids and saying there are no excuses, it doesn't matter, you do this. It's some kids aren't ready for that, and that's just a fact in the way things are. And understanding that you can understand where kids are coming from and their behavior and some of the things that shape them and mold them, and try to understand those, but still have a standard. And I think it makes a huge difference to acknowledge those things with a kid and be empathetic about it and say, I understand where you're coming from. I understand this is an issue, but that's okay. Even though you've had this issue, you've had this behavior, or have these reasons for your behavior, we can still reach this expectation. We can reach this standard regardless of where you came from. It's going to be harder because of this, but we can do that anyway. And I think that we owe it to kids to be able to do that. And that, when I say that, that means it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But I think I talk about it on the show all the time, that is the job that is put in front of coaches. Coaches are just in this spot of responsibility and power. I don't want to use the word power, but they can, right? They can use it incorrectly, but they are definitely in this spot to influence a kid's life almost more than anybody. And when I say influence, it can go either way. So a coach is in this remarkable spot of being able to take a kid that can have some issues and exhibit some really bad behaviors and say, okay, but regardless of that, we're going to get past this and we're going to reach this expectation and hit these goals and see this success. And I think that's why you should coach. And I can see not only from her background, but just from her life experience in JaDawn, becoming a single mother at a very young age, at 17, and be able to, it's interesting. We talk about that. She can succeed, and we like to say despite that, but is that also the reason for her success? Because she had the right attitude about how she handled it. And I think that there's something to be said there too, that, like, again, we talked about it in that episode, that the things that happen that we think hold us back are sometimes the things that strengthen us to help us become better. And we don't see it that way. And we absolutely should. We don't want to go find bad things to happen to us, but I mean, we can do hard things on purpose to help bolster that, but bad things are going to happen. Things are just going to happen in our life, but we need to be able to take that and say, okay, this thing is happening to me. I can either let that be something that's holding me back, or it's something that's building up my character and my ability and my resilience to overcome and become better in my life. And you can see that in her. I can't wait to get down and watch a game, watch her in action. I'm telling you, I had the opportunity to listen to her do a little bit of preaching with some kids there. And I'm telling you, yeah, I'm a fan. She is very high energy, and you could just feel her presence when she was speaking. It was just fantastic. And just that, man, it made me feel good being there. And I was so happy that we had that little snafu and we both got to hear each other speak, because it yielded an episode of the podcast that I'm really proud of and like. And there you go. That's that thing about, like, things happen when you look for them. And I know I'm leaning into this faith stuff a little bit more, and it's amazing how often it's connecting me to people. And I just, I can't ignore that. It's good stuff. So yeah. So I continue to go. It's August. We're rolling. I'm working with a lot of teams, a lot of schools. I was talking to my wife the other day that I am almost at capacity. I have so many schools I'm working with. It's getting hard to fit it in, and I'm almost at capacity with athletes that I work with. But it's a great thing. But Lord willing, if somebody else, and people are calling all the time, if somebody's wanting some help from Mental Mettle Coaching to help them out, Lord willing, I'll find a way to do that and work that in. It's just going so well. And I know God has a lot of he's everything in doing that and helping that happen. So I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful for everybody listening to the podcast, sharing this stuff and sharing my stuff, and just trying to grow this idea of forging your mettle and understanding that toughness is, like, negativity does not have a monopoly on toughness. You can be tough and very positive, and you should be. It's the long-term version of toughness that we want. And I'm so excited to get to do this every day. It's fantastic stuff. So thank you so much for joining me, but I'm out of time here. This has been the Mental Mettle Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Matt Tillman, and always remember, forge your mettle. Thanks for listening to the Mental Mettle Podcast. Don't forget to tune in every week for more insights and strategies to help you forge mental toughness and resilience. This podcast is brought to you by Mental Mettle Coaching, where we are driven by a passion for sharing knowledge and experience that empowers others to play, live, and grow with confidence. Our mission is to instill a resilient and spirited mindset in our clients, enabling them to confidently face adversity and actively seek new challenges for personal growth. At Mental Mettle Coaching, we offer individual coaching, group coaching, and professional development for schools and businesses. Whether you're an athlete, educator, or professional, we're here to help you unlock your potential and thrive in every area of life. Until next time, keep growing, stay resilient, and always remember to forge your mettle.